Well, hello, and welcome to Opal City. Well, hello, and welcome to Opal City Confidential, a Starman podcast, episode 38. No, it's not episode 38. We're going to be covering Starman, volume 2, number 38. And I have a guest. Kirby's back. For us, he's already been a guest, and it will drop a couple days after we record this one, where we go to the Wild Wild West with a new Starman. But we're going to be here to talk about issue 38. Let's see how bad my ability to read French, because this has the comic's title is La Fraternité de Justice et Liberté, which basically means the fraternity of justice and liberty. Or is this a new Justice League? Well, we'll find out. It is no Starman appears in this issue. So, but first, say hello, Kirby. I'm sorry.
Hi, Ross. Thanks for bringing me on to talk about Starman proper here, even if, like you just said, Jack Knight's not actually in this issue.
Shit, not one of them. They ain't of the seven. They ain't one of them in it.
Nope.
But I think it's worth it. This is one I've always remembered, but I remembered it wrong, and we'll find that as me and Kirby go through this discussion. Let's start with this. Do I have both open? No, I do not. I wish the fandom wiki for DC had the publication dates for DC. It does not, but the information in Grand Comic and Mike's is pretty thin, because this is outside of there.
Yeah.
This is too new. So it's cover dated January 1998, which means it came out in October of 1997. That sounds about right. Yeah, I was.
Mike says on sale date November 5th. So, yep.
November. Okay. It is a wonderful Tony Harris cover. It shows the new Miss Nash holding her and Jack's son, Kyle, in her arms in front of a pacifier and a loaded gun. It says on the cover, "The Mist returns." I'm looking at this on this little one in the wiki and not on the big book in my lap. So, and then behind it, it has Firestar, Ice Maiden, Blue Devil, Amazing Man, and the Crimson Fox, all members of this new league. What do you think of this cover? I mean, it's a Tony Harris, so they're normally always very good.
Yeah, no, I think that this is a really good Tony Harris cover. Just really like kind of the painterly monochromatic look
Yeah.
it has, which is just kind of my internet style, my painting style. So I bring the lead. It's probably the best art in this book.
Yeah. I mean, I like the art in the book. But we're at the year of time where Tony's not around for much longer. I think he only has a couple more issues.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
Does he does No, he doesn't.
he
Yeah, he does.
might
He does. He
be in
does
the
this.
next in volume in the fourth omnibus.
Huh?
Oh, I was just thinking it's like he might still technically be in the fourth omnibus, but it's not long into that.
Yeah, I think the Shazam stories or the one after it is his last. And this is also because there's a lot of times past. There are 2 times past coming up. And in my book, it has the Secret Files is right after it. What is it? Is the Secret Files in the?
Yep. So in volume, yeah, Secret Files #1, which is has an ending that I always remember, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about
But so we're getting to the end of it.
it's in there.
Yeah, so this one is kind of like that. I think they're doing stories where, they're setting stuff up for later, which is fine. I think that's one thing I like about this book in a lot of ways. You do get other artists from time, and when they do, oh, I didn't realize Dusty Abel is part of the comic artists. He must have maybe did the people in the back.
That was something I noticed. I couldn't find any information because it says Harris 97 after Abel, and usually that means like he's Harris is like homaging Abel, but I couldn't find what he was homaging.
He's homaging the art inside because that's
Right.
Dusty.
Okay. So I guess yeah.
He's
Yeah.
just trying to make it match. That's very nice of him. I think
Yeah.
that's kind of cool. Um, Creative people on this book are James Robinson, writer, penciler, Dusty Abel, inkers, Dexter Vines, and Norman Lee. Colorist Noel Giddings, letterers Bill Oakley and NJQ, editors Archie Goodwin and Chuck Kim. So let us give the Justice featured character Starman mentioned only. I think it's always very kind of bold when you're writing a superhero comic and the lead character doesn't appear in it.
Yeah, no, it is so it does it always think speaks well to your supporting cast if you can do that. Like I know the Captain Atom series would have that occasion where he wouldn't show up, and I think even Wally wouldn't show up in a few issues of Flash here and there.
Yeah, it's good
But
world. It's good world building. Um, so the lineup for this new Justice League is the Crimson Fox, Firestorm, Ronnie Raymond, Blue Devil, Amazing Man, Will Everett III, and Ice Maiden. What is it? We also get to see a little picture. We get to see Kyle Knight, The Mist, and there are a bunch of people mentioned because, and we're gonna have I know me and Kirby are gonna end up on a side discussion of the Justice League in this era. So, and this book has been reprinted 3 times. Starman Infernal Devices, well, 4 times because Starman Omnibus Volume 3 was hardcover and softcover, and then the Compendium, which I'm reading it. I'm almost done with Compendium 1. Almost done.
okay. Sorry about that, folks.
The
internet.
Yeah. But this has some neat recommended reading. I'm gonna have to check this out. But it's just got some references to it. I like the fandom. I think the DC and Marvel wikis are pretty good. The ones that they kind of maintain, they're pretty good. Sometimes they're not. We're going to jump to synopsis right now, real quick, while we're talking about that. I'm going to take that from the fandom wiki, and me and Kirby will be right back. Synopsis for La Fraternité de Justice et Liberté. Pardon my French. Crimson Fox, Constant d'Armoris, reforms the Justice League Europe. The new league is composed of Crimson Fox, Firestorm, Ronnie Raymond version, Blue Devil, Amazing Man, and Ice Maiden. Unbeknownst to the others, Ice Maiden is actually the Mist in disguise. The group takes its first mission, protecting a precious diamond on display at a museum. While there, Mist soon reveals herself. She isolates Crimson Fox and uses her powers to create a gas that slows her hero's reflexes and slashes her multiple times, causing her to bleed out. Mist reveals herself to Amazing Man. He reaches out to a wall to take the form of what he believes is stone. However, Mist has painted the glass with the color of the stone. Thus, Amazing Man is unwittingly taken on the qualities of glass. Mist shoots him, shattering him and seemingly killing him. Blue Devil sees Mist murder Amazing Man. He attacks her with Hellfire, which triggers the sprinkler system. Blue Devil is soon realized that the Mist has had the water in the system blessed. Thus, Blue Devil is covered in holy water and collapses. Soon it leaves him only a smoking skeleton. Firestorm arrives to find Blue Devil a mere skeleton. Before he can react, Mist detonates a bomb, severely injuring Firestorm, finishing off Crimson Fox and Blue Devil, and destroying the museum. Afterward, Nash is seen talking to her son. She tells him will go visit his father. This was the synopsis from the fandom wiki for Marvel, and it's a really good site. I really like it. For the most part, it's stuff to update, got good information. I like the trivia. They pick the things I like. So give it a shoot if you ever want to read up about what's going on in some of these back issues. All right. Enjoy the rest of the podcast. That was the wonderful synopsis from the DC fandom wiki. I'm going to start with you, Kirby. What did you think of this issue overall? Like as a single issue and as, let's go, I'll give you both. The single issue and as, how does it contribute to the ongoing arc?
So I think this is actually a really good single issue that, again, we're able to kind of focus on one member of the supporting cast, well, villain, with the Mist, and we're able to have like a complete done-in-one story that does kind of build up the threat again to the Mist, because she has not appeared for a while, I think at this point in the series.
Last time she appeared is when she conceived, I think she conceived the kid. Maybe
Oh
no. There's a reference sometime else where she calls him or something and tells him about it. It may be later,
God,
but you're right. It's been a few. It's been a few issues. It's
yeah,
been
and
probably a
I
couple of years in the books. Well, been about a year in the books timeline.
yeah, because the baby clearly is like less than a year old, so it's 2 years. I
Shit,
I'm
the
just gonna
kid's
get this
still
out.
only like 5 years old.
The one thing I'll say about this is I really do not like the art in this issue by
Really?
Dusty. I don't. I just think it's so kind of flat and boring. Like they're in this museum and it might as well just be a warehouse for how it
Well, I think
looks.
that's the point. I mean, he makes a comment about how ugly it is, and the
Yeah.
French hate it, and it is because we got what you live outside D.C. I grew up
Yeah.
out there. There in the modern art buildings everywhere in the world look like some kid on some 6-year-old in a Lego set on some heavy drugs built it because they're all odd shaped. I mean, that may be an intentional thing.
All right.
Um, I do like it. I like, but I'm not. I wasn't bothered by the. I like the character. Just I like the way he drew the character.
But like for me, it's Crimson Fox being able to see every outline of her ear. That's just a comic book thing that bugs me because
Oh,
I'm
I
like,
get it.
no, that's not how spandex works, people.
Oh yeah, yeah. I get you. I get you. I like. I think it suits the characters. That's what I liked about it. I like his Blue Devil. I like it very much reminds me of Manola kind of body type and others like
Oh,
that.
now that you say that, I can see that with Blue Devil with kind of some of the heavy inks on some a lot of the pages. So
Yeah, that also is the inkers. I didn't realize it was two different inkers. That says something about the inking that you can't tell them apart. Because that's sometimes when you have multiple inkers, it's like, oh great, I had Terry Austin in this page and I had Alfredo Alcala in this page. It doesn't. It's should they be different? Unless you're doing it on purpose, like the JSA, the All Star Squadron Angel, where every chapter when they're doing the Ian Crockle story, and every chapter had a different artist. And it was the first time we ever got to see George Perez inked by Jerry Ordway.
oh wow.
Yeah, it's the Hour Man story.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go back.
Yeah, it's
That,
nice. Because when he took over inking on Crisis, you were like going, this was beautiful before. Now
hmm
it's a fucking masterpiece. But no, I get you. I get you. I like Dusty Abel normally. This is the least Dusty Abel. I was surprised when I saw it was Dusty. I would have to go back and look, but I was like, I don't think this is maybe, I don't know. I thought it was somebody else.
Yeah, and
Um,
Dusty, just glancing at he doesn't have a ton of credits in the comic world,
yeah, he
at
doesn't
least
or
according to
does.
Mike's Amazing World. Does not, no. It's
Um,
maybe two dozen, 3 dozen.
I think he did more Marvel than he DC, maybe. I know his
Oh
art,
wait, okay.
but
Oh,
it's okay. I mean, in a lot of ways I liked it. I always have read this as a character piece. Um,
oh yeah, that's
but he is
yeah, and that's where
definitely,
this issue does sing.
yeah. Um, so what did you think of? Okay, so there's a new Justice League, and the Crimson Fox has founded it. This is you pointed this out. This is 14 issues into Morrison's run.
Yeah.
Okay, I had not read the back end of Justice League. Basically I was in and out after Spectacular #1, after Europe and Europe ended and America became the Justice League book, and they had Task Force because it's around 0 hour. So Triumph comes, and then there's Extreme Mountain Dew. Oh no, that's Extreme Justice. Um, Came out, which I did not like really. It was also it just screamed of the excess. I'm gonna go back and read it at some point because I'm discovering, well, I wasn't enjoying that style and that kind of storytelling then. I may enjoy it now. But I hadn't read the back end of these. And I started Googling it and to see who was in that Justice League at the end because I'd never read it. And I couldn't find it. And it's not on the app. And I did some homework and then I went, I read the credits. And a certain person who will remain nameless was writing at the time, which is sad. This person was a good comic book writer, but they're pedo. And when I just said, "Oh, they're written by the pedo," and it texted Kirby, Kirby went, "Oh, I knew you were saying." Then I added the name, and he went, "No, I knew it at pedo."
Yeah, yeah, like yeah, no, I unfortunately I knew exactly who you were talking about.
Which
And again,
is
it's because let's move past kind of that
yeah,
aspect, but
yeah,
because
yeah.
the
But I
Justice
wanted to
League
see the
before
the lineup.
Morrison
Yeah, I wanted to kind of see the lineup though.
cluster schmuck might be a way to put it.
Well, I mean, I thumbed through, and he had Hawkman, you had Wonder Woman. She was wearing that '90s outfit. Um,
Oh, the biker short
yeah,
version.
yeah.
Oof.
But it had Obsidian, Metamorpho, Nuklon, Hawkman, Ice, and Amazing Man. This is the great grandson of the original, and I wish I'd read it. I looked at it, and I went, I would have probably enjoyed that. And it doesn't, and every comic that guy wrote, I mean, he wrote some really good comics. And he understood DC characters pretty well. But I had no idea. I was remembering it this way, that this Will Everett was created for this issue. Like I always assumed James didn't know what the fuck was going on. And you know what I mean? Does that make
No,
sense?
yeah, no. This issue feels very DC editorial is kind of using James to kind of do some cleanup, and James is kind of getting some lemonade out of it.
Well, I think he may have picked them because most of them are from that lineup. Blue Devil may have been in that lineup too, or was he? No, this is his first Justice League team.
Uh,
I think.
no, because like this is the first time. Yeah,
I get confused because I haven't read them and
yeah.
I
Because
wasn't,
oh
and they're
my God,
not available online. The previous, but it may have been a little bit of both. He probably had to have I'm going to kill some of them. Here are them I use. Who can I kill? You can't kill Firestorm, but you can hurt him. We don't give a, well, there's another thing is when we go through the art, but I like, I think you're right because most of these people end up having a bad ending
yep.
in this issue. But it's Nash. She's fucking awful. So you're not surprised. Um, so folks, as in the synopsis, um, Nash has set all this in motion, and she's played a long game. She set everything up. What did you think of that? That of the plot part of the plot of Nash? What was going
Oh,
on?
I think again, this speaks to the strength of this issue, which is, we start with Nash kind of cooing to her baby of like the awful crimes she has just committed, and you see, and even though you know it, you can see, Robinson seeing it through, where quote unquote Ice Maiden is kind of saying, "You go here, you go here, you go here," so it's there.
Yeah. Um, I really like that, and we go from, and it's really reading like a Justice League comic, even though started the introduction, and we get to the point to where they all split up. We're going to guard this museum because someone's going to come and steal from it. Not a very Justice League size crime, but baby steps, I guess, because this Crimson Fox, um, folks, if you haven't read the International Era of Justice League, there are two of them. They were twin sisters,
Yeah,
and they took turns.
yeah, it's like they took, I think one of them faked their death. So they would alternate between one's going to be the hero and one's going to be like the public persona, and we'll switch between the two because no one can tell the difference.
Yeah, and that's a kind of a neat way to do it. It's a very 1940s way.
Mm-hmm.
It did very golden age, but they all split up. But we also get a conversation about how important being a member of the Justice League is between Firestorm, who was one of the was he the last of the satellite era?
Yeah, and I was kind of thinking, I really would have liked if Blue Devil had joined in either the late Satellite or even early Detroit. Maybe the timelines don't work up
It
perfectly,
doesn't.
but
No, he would have been Detroit, tail end of
okay.
Detroit. I always thought he should have been a Justice League member. I think, damn, I bought a Blue Devil figure a few years back in his original costume, which I think is a beautiful fucking
Oh
costume.
God, yeah. No,
I
the
think
Paris
this
Cullens.
costume, yeah,
Yeah.
this costume is really fucking nice too. I really do like this one.
This is 90s costume, but not bad 90s costume.
Yeah. But at this point, he's in Shadow Pack because this is, or
No, he's not
Sub-Zero.
even. He's not even.
Oh, no, 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 because this is before Day of Vengeance.
Yep.
He dies here. They bring him back, which is not that far away, maybe a
Day of
year or
Judgment. I
so.
checked.
Day
Yeah.
of Judgment, which I've just is which in the wonderful mapping that is the first JSA compendium, having all that in there just makes it a third Jack compendium.
It
And
really
I
does.
will be covering those as Jack. I'm going to get to the issue where I've been on all these adventures with the Justice Society, and then I'm going to add the JSA compendium up to where he leaves in there as Jack. Because it really does, that compendium, you could squeeze it in between those panels. But so Blue Devil has him, but he gets resurrected, and then he's in Shadow Pack,
Yep.
which
Which
is
we got to
another great
talk
book.
about that at some point.
I really wish they're doing a complete Terrifics compendium. You could do
Yep.
complete Shadow Pack or something like that. I think it was a good book. Oh God, who
Hmm.
wrote it? I mean,
Bill Willingham and Lila Sturgis.
okay, thank God. Ooh, well, no, they wrote some great stuff, but their JSA.
I'll actually kind of defend their JSA, but again, story for another time.
Yeah. I think it starts out okay, and I get a little lost at the end, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like that conversation. What did you think of that conversation about what it means to be in it? And
So I think it's a good conversation, even if there is some clearly James Robinson voicing his opinions of like, things were simpler, done in one, no one died, but now everyone's dying left and right. So
I
he's
don't know,
venting a
but I
little
think
bit, but not wrong.
he's also telling you what's about to fucking happen.
Yeah,
It's like we're gonna do something terrible because I'm allowed to kill people now.
yeah,
And there's cause and effect. See, the thing about, and we've talked about this, there are certain characters I think we both said you should leave them dead.
yes.
It was a good death. It had gravitas. It made sense. And we've been living off of this death for decades.
Hmm.
I think sometimes when someone dies, they should just stay dead.
Yeah, like I said, the Ice Maiden in this issue, quote unquote, like this isn't Tora Olafstarter, who everyone's thinking of. Like this is her replacement, and yeah, I
Well,
think in
it's
that.
not even her.
Oh, it's not even the
No, you
replacement.
got it. I was reading it. When she is talking to Crimson Fox,
Hmm.
Fox goes, What have you done with Ice? If you've heard her, she's not here. Relax. I contacted her covertly. I made it seem like there was a secret threat occurring in her homeland, a threat that if she told anyone about it would cause many death. I've been posing as her.
Like,
For years, I don't know why I didn't realize that. She doesn't, this isn't some extra Ice Maiden. It's Nash in disguise. That's why the costume's all over the floor and there's a dead guard.
yes, and again, it's set up perfectly. And one thing I don't want to overstep is the flirting between Amazing Man and Crimson Fox for 2 pages, 3 pages, because I think that
Again,
really
because
works.
it works and it has a payoff. He's not
Yep.
just doing it to be titillating. It has and they give it an historical context for him.
I really like because I'll be honest, why is Blue Devil and Firestorm there? Like the other two, I could get why Crimson Fox would pick, but like again, for what is it? Paris. It's always been a place where Black Americans could find happiness. You put up a statue honoring the Black American servicemen after the First World War. Back then, our own country wanted to forget we ever fought in the same battles.
Yeah, I see that little history lesson. Is it needed? No. But is
It,
it perfect? Does it make sense for him to have that discussion?
yep.
Especially with a French woman, because the French are very aware of that. Like, hey, we didn't treat you like shit. We treated you all like shit because
Mhm.
you're bougie Americans, but we didn't treat your African American. They had their own crimes against
Yeah.
African Americans. But No, I like that. I like that a lot. And I like that whole conversation between the Nash and Fox. And you see that Nash has put a knife under her throat, but that's all that Fox is. And she's having this conversation. And he goes, "Oh, and by the way, look down. Yeah, I did." She had a micro thin cut across her neck, and the fox has been bleeding out this entire time.
Is that what that? I could not figure out what was going because I couldn't
Because
remember.
again, she says it. You think you were fast, or were you? But not fast enough, unprotected against the mist. I'm generating here. It slowed your reflexes. Why? Look down. So as we talked, you've been dying. It's something to do with her mist and stuff like that.
Okay, I thought it's like yeah, she was poisoned and it was doing something, but okay, if she slowed her down and like that's supposed to be blood,
Yeah,
that's
because
kind of where I wish the art. I don't know. I mean, I get it. It's
well,
the
they
Crimson
know
Fox
on
costume.
the page before the knife's under her throat and it's touching her chin.
Okay.
So he didn't put it against her neck, but it's definitely coming from her neck. And then, oh, I love, and next Miss goes and confronts Everett and first thing she says, "I killed your girlfriend."
Mm-hmm.
And he gets pissed and he touches the wall. Oh, so
Thinking
here's
it's supposed to be concrete.
it's supposed to be concrete, but it's glass. Um, wouldn't he just have turned into paint?
Yeah, that's one of those. How does the powers work? And the answer is
Yeah,
when the plot needs it to, how the plot
yeah,
needs it to.
yeah. I like Amazing Man. I always have. I think Ordway, when him and Manley visually created, and I like it. Roy's the first one to put a black member in a team again.
Yeah.
It's like Jesus Christ, guys, that's the '80s. You didn't create any black superheroes.
Yeah. Oh,
Well,
again, it took until Vixen for the Justice League to have a black member, but
yeah, I know it's ridiculous. But she turns him into glass and then shoots him. And
which
it just
cool pan. Like I think that is kind of cool, even if how the power work is plot relevant.
well, I mean, it works. But also, if he was the main character in a book, he would have just reformed,
Hmm.
willpower. But and when they create a new, what I do like is when Johns wants an Amazing Man in Justice Society years later, he doesn't use this one. He's dead. He got killed. I'm going to honor
Nope.
James's
Yep.
story, and I'm going to create his cousin Marcus. And I think Marcus is a really good modern interpretation of that costume.
Yeah. I just wish Johns had used him more because he got pushed to
Yeah.
the background kind of quick.
And then Johns was leaving. It was so close to the end. He's in the Kingdom Come story, and that's about it.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's like there are not enough people of color in Super Team books.
Yep.
Is it better than it was? Way better.
Yeah.
Way better. They're very international, but having a legacy character like that, a black legacy character, would be really good. He'd be great. You could put him, you could do so much because he's from New Orleans. You could do so much. He's from New Orleans. Okay, maybe his powers don't come. It's in Hereditary because he's a cousin of the original. So maybe his is something to do with magic because it's Louisiana. You could do just so much. And the costume's just sweet. Just a sweet costume.
Hmm.
But we get to see Blue Devil attack her. He's all pissed that she's killed them. And he starts shooting his
His
staff.
trident.
His
Yeah.
trident starts fires, which turns on the sprinklers, which
Oh,
was yeah.
and I love this is my favorite part of the whole issue is this is Nash. I did plan everything. I suggested which rooms we should guard so I could attack you in order. I planted rumors of terrorists and a phony nuclear device to divert Firestorm, who I knew would be problematic at this early point in my career. I made sure Amazing Man was in a room lined with glass, and I made sure you'd be the last. So you'd see what I'd done and react the way you have. All the anger, all the fire. Because you're part demon, and your fire will activate the sprinkler system that I loaded with holy water. I
Yes.
love that.
I
I
did
just
too.
love.
It was very much a Jack and Dean, Sam and Dean from Supernatural kind of trick.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You cut away. Bad guys, what are you gonna do? Turn on the sprinklers. What's that gonna do? It's like, and you see one of their sidekicks like blessing all the water in the water tank or whatever. Um, it's a great death for him. It is. And this is where I get a little confused because I just read his resurrection and went, wait a minute. Did he die? And he was resurrected and he died again? Oh, no, 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 no. I'm reading these out of order. So
Yeah, because like he had been a devil since I think Day of Underworld Unleashed, I think is where that started.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That but okay, so I'm confused about Firestorm. What happened with Firestorm? So I'm going back here. So because I really remembered this, I mean, because I haven't read this in a long time. I just remembered as they all died. And it's only three of them die.
Yeah, and yeah, because like Firestorm, he got called away for the phony nuclear threat. So he comes back, and then Nash unleashed a bomb, but we don't even see him injured or anything.
Yeah, and in the wiki
Like,
it says he's injured from it. It's a Firestorm didn't know what hit him. More important, he didn't know who. More important, he didn't know who hit him. No one will know. It's me who has done this, and until I feel inclined to proclaim it. Um, so I guess he was injured by the nuclear explosion. I don't see that happening.
yeah, it's weird. And now this is a question I don't know if you know is at the end of the Fury of Firestorm, Martin Stein had gone off into space as the fire elemental. So I don't even know who Ronnie's like teamed like paired with here.
This is too early for him to be paired up. The him and the African American
Yeah,
kid.
yeah, like uh Jack's is it Jack? No, god damn. He wouldn't be until like Infinite Crisis. So yeah, we're like a decade away from him.
Oh, was there no Firestorm for a decade?
No, it's like I know Ronnie appears like during like Joe Kelly's JLA run, so it's like he's still around. It's just I don't know who the other half of Firestorm is here
Yeah.
because we don't even get like a headshot bubble.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little confused. I mean, but I'm reading Starman in a bubble, really, because I'm not reading ahead to reread. I'm just kind of reading in order. I do jump ahead every once in a while. I'm probably going to read coming up is the Secret Files, and after that is the the Shazam crossover, which is a blast. Can't wait for that. Um, but it is in a bubble. But what I like is when we see the explosion, it's a 2-page spread panel of the city. You see Firestorm standing in the wreckage, and then you cut to the balcony window of her hotel. And there's in the next page is baby Kyle. Maybe she's teaching him how to assemble clean and field strip a gun as a diaper wearing toddler. I don't even think he's a toddler. He's not wearing a
He's not
diaper
even in a
either.
diaper.
Yeah, that's lady. I hope he pees all over you and maybe poops in your mouth or something. Gross for babies too.
Uh,
But it's and
like I
then
said,
what she says at the end, and I hope wherever Crimson Fox is, Valhalla or Maurice Chevalier um cabin in the clouds. I hope she's thankful. Yes, I killed her, but at least I helped remove a piece of this new parasite she hated so much. Oh, that's what blew up. It was the art museum. Um, and then the baby stopped eating, and she's mentioned it, and she's like going, "We'll sit out here and enjoy the sun and some more, and some more. And then mommy has to see a man about a new device he's building for me. With it, I intend to hold Opal City to ransom. Won't that be fun? And you'll meet your daddy at last. Yes, you will. You'll meet your daddy, Jack." And basically, she's talking about the Grand Guignol, isn't she?
yeah, I and like
And
that's
that's
what
not for
two,
50,
three
50,
years.
like 40 issues.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
no, that's the long game. That is where this issue really works
yeah,
as part of the larger narrative.
yeah, it's just one of those things like in when TV started to be serialized in the 90s and early 2000s, stuff like Lost, and I use it as an example. People got frustrated with Lost because ABC was having to pause it during like certain seasons because they had the Olympics or something else. So they'd have 5-ish episodes and then they'd have 3 and then they would have gaps. And they would not plan. Nowadays, what people would do is like, no, I'm going to do 10. You find a halfway point and I'll give you a cliffhanger. And then I'll be off for a month and then we'll come back, or we'll come back 3 months later. You do what you want to do. But Lost had these single during the Olympics, I think of what it was, character pieces, because you had so many characters, you would have to have an episode focused on the character. And it was also letting you know one of these people in this character episodes is dying relatively quickly. And I think this is how that kind of thing is done. It's like you're reading a novel. You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
you'll have a chapter that is not part of the main narrative, but moves the main narrative along by giving you either information or moving a character from one place to another so they're there when you need them later. And I think that's what this is. I think it's very well written. I would read a book with these people as team members.
Yeah, no, like I think again, Robinson does, even if, three, you know, two, three, or three-fifths of them are cannon fodder, he gives them a dynamic, and everyone does still feel in character, to who they are.
Yeah, yeah, they
Because he
do.
doesn't write them off as schmucks, and it maybe could have been nice to see them like instead of at the team table, them on like finishing up a mission to show like, oh no, these are very competent heroes, which from the larger DC universe, but in this issue that could have been nice, but that's a very minor complaint.
Yeah, and
Not
and I
even
think
complaint.
when I first read this, I kind of took it as how stupid are these heroes, and I think they're not stupid. She's a good bad guy. She figured it
Hmm.
all out. She's playing the long game. It took her a while. She had to assume someone's identity and fake their powers somehow. You would assume that she's had done something at one point to show that make them, none of them know her well enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because again, this is
These are all people.
supposedly the second Ice Maiden, and it's like, okay,
Yeah,
very few of us teamed up with you, if
yeah,
ever.
yeah. So it works very well. Um, and I really enjoy it. And now, I'm going to go into the Secret Files of Shazam, because this is basically the last regular one I recovered in the book was Jack being told by Sadie who she is. And that leads to Grand Guignol, but we don't have Grand Guignol still for a bit. We don't. He's going to go to space sometime in the next 10 issues. But there's some time paths. There's certain things. Robinson is trying to give us information dumps that are entertaining and character pieces. Let's move Ted to where he needs to be. Ted's going to be in an event that Jack's not in, DC 1 million, because Jack's
Oh
in
yeah.
space. Yeah,
Oh, but that's still a really good issue. Where again, Jack doesn't appear. It's still a goddamn good issue.
oh my God,
Critical
it's
to
probably,
that whole event
oh
too.
yeah, yeah. It's very critical, the whole event. And brings us another Starman and another Hour Man. Um, but yeah, I like this one a great deal. I like this one a great deal. Um, so we're going to kind of move to the end. I would just say overall, this is an overall good issue. I'm excited what's coming. I love it when Nash shows up. I really do. She's a great version of the Mist. And it also, her version of the Mist cements how good the Mist is. It makes the Mist in any old Silver Golden Age I read better.
Hmm.
So does that make sense? I think
Yeah,
Robbins did a lot to kind of to make. I want that's not because I mean
to
Gardner Fox and
plus.
Broom and all those people were using these
Yeah.
villains again in Justice League, and Conway and Thomas were all using the Golden Age Village, even though most Golden Age comic villains didn't appear multiple times. I mean, the Mist only appears twice in the Golden Age. That's
Wow,
it.
really?
Yeah, yeah. They don't. They tend to it's a lot of bank robbers and con men and grifting crooked politicians and mad scientists. That's generic. Yeah, Ted only has two repeating villains. I think Shade is probably one that's more. The Flash villains appear more. I think even in Golden Age Flash, the villains appear more.
Okay.
So, but I liked it. I liked it. It was nice pause. I've been talking a lot of Starman, and folks, you'll hear it. We're recording this on the 15th, on the 16th of April, and in 2 days, the episode me and Kirby did 2 weeks ago
Yeah,
will
that sounds
finally
right.
post. Yeah, which is one that was not part of my plan originally. But new Starman pops up all the time. So, but what's your overall take on this one?
Yeah, so
Um,
I again, I'm not big on the art in this issue, but the story and the dialogue more than carry it through. I think it's you cannot skip this issue, and you shouldn't
Oh
skip
my
this
God, you
issue.
can't. You're not going to understand because they're going to reference this crap.
Hmm.
Mm, does it, but the art doesn't take you out of the story, does it? It's not so off-putting that.
It's not. No, it's not where I can't stand to look at it art, but it's just like would have been even better. Like
Yeah,
it needed to be for or just a different style altogether, and this one just kind of falls into like it pleases. I shouldn't say it pleases no one. It just doesn't please me.
gotcha. All right. Well, folks, since me and
So
Kirby were,
that's just kind of how I feel about it overall.
that's cool. I get you. There's some that, I don't think there's anything in this any art in the Starman run ever that I didn't like, which is that's we'll see. I've got a bunch more to go through. Um, so let's do some recommendations. Me and Kirby recorded 2 episodes today, and they're not coming out in the same order. I don't think. I don't know how they're going to drop, so that'll be weird. Um, my recommendation is musical. Um, I I'm a big folks. I think I've probably mentioned this 1,000 times, either if not on this, but on Gallifrey's Most Wanted. There's only been 2 times that someone's had to check on me when a celebrity's died. One was when Elizabeth Sladen played Sarah Jane in the original Doctor Who. Um, and the other was Levon Helm, the drummer and basically lead singer of the band. Um, but I was listening to some. I clicked. I'm just gonna put random Levon Helm in my ear on a walk. And folks, I don't know what your thing is. My favorite song ever of all time is "The Weight" by the band. My favorite version of that is the version where they sang it with the Staple Singers for part of the Last Waltz film. It was them playing it after the concert, after they broke up technically. It was a Martin Scorsese film. But I was listening and I did not realize that Mavis Staple and Levon Helm did an album together. And I'm now looking. Oh, here it is. Do not start playing. It's called Carry Me Home, and it's a live album. Mavis is singing lead, and Levon's on. I think he has one or two because he is a singer, but it's just a Mavis Staple and Levon Helm doing classic blues songs and maybe some new ones. I don't know. I haven't listened to the whole album. They do cover the weight. The last album song on the album is them doing the weight. And I'll put the weight is so Maisie Staples is famous because you remember the Staple singer, and then she's been performer for 60 or 70 years now. Um, when Helm died, all over the country, concert bands in concert venues played the weight in memoriam to him. And I can think of I've seen 4 where she was there when they did it. She did it at the Grammy. She did it at the CMA. She did it. She was the one, well, not the one common denominator. Helms's daughter and his musical partners, his he had a regular guitar player and who would play the drums when Levon was playing the mandolin or something. Because Levon has a concert venue up on the same land where they recorded the Big Pink, which is their breakout album. But great, it's where if you like American classic music, which is blues and jazz, but Mavis Staple is amazing and Levon is amazing, and it will probably be when I do Spotify next year. They give me the pop out. There will be a shit ton of it, so I cannot recommend it enough. What's your recommendation for this episode?
Oh man, you can't have me follow that.
Well, I mean,
Okay, so mine is going to go in kind of a very different direction. So Ross, as you know, because I record the Captain Carrot, I'm a big Looney Tunes fan.
mhm.
And my recommendation is the movie that just released in the US on the 14th, The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie. So the short version is this is all centered around Porky Pig and Daffy Duck thwarting an alien invasion with Petunia Pig as to round out the main cast. So it is a Looney Tunes movie, through and through. There is a lot of comedy. There are jokes. For They're just for the adults. It's 2D animated, which we don't get enough of anymore in movies. It's all there's things you can do in that style that you can't do with computers. I'm sorry, folks, you just can't. And I just have to credit Eric Bauza and Candy Milo, the actual voice actors for the Looney Tunes. They're bringing their A game to it. And, I saw it in the theater. There were parents, kids, everyone was enjoying it. Uh, if you can't make it to the theater, definitely give this a watch. The most interesting thing to me is there's not a barrage of Looney Tune cameos. They focus on just Porky, Daffy, and Petunia Pig, and I kind of think it works on that. And there's only like one or two jokes that are immediately dated to like 2025, and yeah, that happens. There's plenty of Looney Tunes jokes that were dated to 1941,
Yeah,
but
yeah. You don't know how long something's gonna last.
yeah,
Back then it's like you'll see it. And we may bring it back out. Who knows?
yeah,
Well, that's cool. I'll have to check it out when it comes on on Max because
yeah.
me and my wife went when they did. Did you see the Super Pets movie?
No, I did, and I
Oh, it's so fun. It is really,
okay.
it's a lot of fucking fun, mate. It's really, the evil genius is a fucking hamster. It's fucking hysterical. No, it's Kevin Hart and The Rock,
Okay.
and they're having a good time. It's really fun. Did you see the spy movie they did where Kev,
Oh yeah, yeah. Was it Central Intelligence? Was that
Central
it?
Incentive? Because The
Yeah.
Rock is hysterical in his little unicorn t-shirt that's way too tight, and he's very sweet. Yeah, it's me and Leslie went thinking it'd be cute, and it was a lot funnier than we thought. It was a
Oh, that's
lot of
good.
fun. Yeah, because it for people it's poking fun at franchise movies, like superhero franchise movies in a way at times, so people who aren't comic readers can get it, but as a comic reader I get it. Like, the one character that thinks it's the Batman analog is what, you know so it's fun. I think when you're I think they don't do enough with funny animals anymore.
No, they don't.
No. So, but it's always a blast. All right, folks, that's it for this week. We'll be back next week with I don't know because I haven't decided. Oh no, wait a minute. Oh, you'll be hearing something from the 30th century because that is already recorded. So that will drop the week after this. All right, folks, as always, be safe, be smart. Please be kind to one another. Please be kind to a teacher or a federal worker.
Hmm.
Oh, or a vet. Let them know you got
Yep.
their back when others do not. And
Hmm.
read some comics. Read some Looney Tune comics.